I'd like to say something about the horrific situation in Gaza, where the level of suffering, innocent children being bombed again, is utterly intolerable.
This is, without a doubt, the strongest criticism Britain has made of Israel since the war in Gaza began.
And I want to put on record today that we're horrified by the escalation from Israel.
And it's not just words. Britain has just suspended talks with Israel on a free trade deal. They've summoned the ambassador. They've sanctioned Israeli settlers in the West Bank. And alongside France and Canada, two of Israel's other closest Western allies, Britain has warned that it is coming increasingly close to breaching international law. And just to be clear, these are not the usual suspects. These are close Israeli allies, governments who have tried to avoid getting involved in South Africa's case against Israel at the International Criminal Court. So what prompted this sudden about-face, this change of tone? Well, over the weekend, Israel launched a new offensive in Gaza. Operation Gideon's Chariots involves 5 divisions of the IDF, and Benjamin Netanyahu himself says its goal is to take control of the entire Gaza Strip and to stay there. So that's the first objection of Israel's Western allies. The second one involves food. For 11 weeks before this operation, Israel blocked all outside food supplies, also supplies of medicine, fuel and other essentials, on the grounds that they were just being looted by Hamas. Tom Fletcher, the former British diplomat who's now the UN's humanitarian chief, has said 14,000 babies in Gaza could die in the next 48 hours if lorries of aid do not reach them immediately. Now, Mr. Netanyahu is aware of all these criticisms. On Monday, he said Israel would allow minimal supplies into the Strip because Israel was approaching what he called a red line, even for its most committed foreign supporters. Well, Britain, France and Canada are blunt. They said Mr. Netanyahu's concession is wholly inadequate. So one possibility is that all of this is a hardline negotiating tactic from Netanyahu, that the Israelis are trying to make clear to Hamas it's much better to concede and release the hostages now than face this oncoming catastrophe. But the fear is that Mr. Netanyahu, the Israeli military and its government really mean to go ahead with this plan. So what next? Emmanuel Macron has mooted recognising a Palestinian state. Keir Starmer hasn't gone that far, although the previous Conservative government did raise that question earlier in the war. That would be a big symbolic step, and for historic reasons it would probably mean much more coming from Britain than from anyone else. But is Israel likely to listen? Well, one Western official told me that when Israel goes to war, no country has any leverage at all, with the exception of America. Donald Trump remains the most pivotal outside figure when it comes to what happens next. It's a historical quirk that hawkish Republican presidents generally have more political latitude to pressure Israel than Democrats, who seem to be sensitive to accusations of being a bit soft on security. This does feel like a decisive moment in this war for Mr. Netanyahu and for Israel. Maybe there will be a last-minute hostage deal, or maybe Gaza will be destroyed and Israel will face deeper international isolation.